Yes, welcome back. Introduction to Basic Counseling, Module number 1, topic number 3. We are still in continuation of the skills in counseling. Skill number 7 is focusing. It's a useful skill if a client brings a lot of issues to this section. By asking the client which issue is most pressing, the counselors and the clients have a clear understanding of what is being worked with. Usually, when the major issue is the focus of the work, other issues tend to fade away or resolve themselves. So, when there are a lot of things on the table with your client, the client comes with a lot of stories of this, of that, of my dad, my mom, my sister, then it's of good ability for the counselor to ask the client that which aspect of this do you want us to deal with today? Because okay, let's start with my father, for instance. So okay, fine. So tell me what happened. So by the time you are trying to solve or listen to the issue as regarding the father, there is every tendency that you might have even listened or solved the issue that regarding the mother and the sisters as well. So when there are a lot of things on the table in the section, we can use this case of focusing so that it makes you and your client know exactly where we are and what we are dealing with. Are we together? Then number 8. Number 8 is clarifying. Clarifying. Sometimes clients give a lot of information all at once that makes perfect sense to them, but can be confusing for you as a counselor to understand. They're talking about these stories of what happened last year, what happened in 2010, what happened last month. Then you have all around stories here and there. To them, they are telling you what makes sense to them. But to you as the counselor, you find it so difficult to digest. So clarifying skills has to come in. Clarifying is a skills that uses a question to help the counselor get a better understanding of the client's story. You use that skills. When a lot of things have been put on the table, then you have to clarify by using this. For instance, we have this client, Valerie, says, Tom has always been selfish. Then Counselor Adela, sorry, who is Tom? Oh, Tom is my father's name. You can see now that you have used the question to clarify whom Tom is. So while it may feel difficult to interrupt a client's story to clarify the meaning, it demonstrates that you really want to understand fully of what story is being narrated. It is also much easier to clarify at that particular time, than to let the client continue and end up not understanding anything. Are we together? Skill number 8, clarifying. Then, another skill is the use of questions. It's supposed to be 9, I think. The use of questions. In counseling, questioning should be used with the skills of clarifying and understanding. Hello? Are we together? I said, in counseling, questioning should be used with the skill of clarifying and understanding, not to judge. Are we together? Not to probe, not to interrogate the client, but for clarifying purposes of understanding. So if questions are used, they should be an open questions, not the closed questions. The question now is, what is open question and what is a closed question? Let's look at these examples. This is a closed question here. Are you feeling sad today? It's a closed question because if you ask me, it's either yes or no. Are you feeling sad today? If I'm not feeling sad, I will say no. If I am, I will tell you yes. Just one word, it's okay to answer that question. So it's a closed question. But in an open question, you give a chance. You allow the client to give more details in an open question. For instance, how are you feeling today? How are you feeling today? Oh, I'm feeling better. Though the pain are still here at my back, even here also. Because the question is an open question, it allows the client to elaborate more on that particular question. So, what we are saying in essence is that in the use of questions, always use an open question with your client. This will allow the client to speak more about the issues as opposed to the responding to a closed question with a yes or no answer. Always check in with yourself before asking a question to ensure that your reason for asking is in the client's service and not yours. For instance, to satisfy your own curiosity. So it's a very good idea to avoid why questions. Why? Any question that starts with why, which can sound a bit of judgmental to the client's actions or decision. So you have to be very careful on that, the use of questions. The number 9 here, which is supposed to be number 10 anyway, is summarizing. This skill is used toward the end of the season and is effectively a longer paraphrase. It is a useful way for the counselor to reflect on the key point of the section before bringing it to the respective close. Just to summarize, to try to keep the summary brief but meaningful and a true reflection of the material that the client has brought to your table. You summarize, it can be just in 2 or 3 sentences, it can be more than that, but you summarize, but in a true reflection of what your client has brought to you. Summarizing can also be used to start a second or a subsequent section, showing that you recall the previous section and reminded the client of the previous work. So it is important, however, not to make the client feel that they must continue the same thread. So you can also use the summarizing as kind of a start-up for a second or a subsequent section. For instance, if I have to meet my client today now, I can try to summarize what we've discussed about yesterday so that I give me a clear picture that I still following the issues and I still understand where we are. So this is key number 10 of an effective counseling, skills in counseling. Then number 10 is immediacy. Using immediacy means that the therapists review how they themselves are feeling in response to the client. Immediacy means that the therapist review how they themselves are feeling in response to the client. So listening to understand instead of listening to respond. Are we together? You are listening to do what? To understand instead of listening to respond. So it's the basic form of trust, mutually respectful relationship in which clients feel safe and secure enough to discuss difficult issues. When this happens and above the skills are used properly, clients can see and embrace the changes in their life. Then the issue of eye contact again comes up here towards the end. Eye contact, looking straight to the eyes of your client. In a Western culture, looking someone in the eye is seen as a sign of honesty. In fact, some see it as an integrity or an undivided attention. But in some cultures, I think even here in Eswatini, as I've heard, that looking straight to the elderly when they are talking is form of disrespect to the elders. So in some Asian culture, however, it can be seen as a sign of disrespect or the rudeness. So you have to be conservative with the kind of culture where you are. So when using counseling skills, always be culturally aware. And this takes us to the end of topic number 3. In our next topic, we shall be looking at the frequently asked questions in counseling. See you again in the next topic.